Greetings, beautiful people. My name is Simon Javan Okelo. I am the CEO and the founder of Madaraka Festival, and I am excited to host today's episode of Madaraka Festival podcast. We are recording live and direct from the Seattle Drum School of Music here in Georgetown in Seattle, Washington. I am honored to host my brother Franco ATTK from Burkina Faso, who is a legendary artist here in the Seattle area. Truly talented brother, and I'm excited to have you here on the show. I'm really excited to see you on the Madaraka Festival stage on August 30th. I want you to take a moment and just add a little more to this introduction. What did I miss in terms of giving you your flowers?
You did not miss a thing. First of all, thank you very much, Simon, for having me. It's always a pleasure to be around you, and it's always a pleasure to hear about the Madaraka too. And Franco, a lot of people say attack and it's okay, but usually just the letters ATTK. That's from
ATTK.
Yeah, just the letters used to be from a band that I used to be in back home in Burkina Faso. Yeah, that's probably the part we didn't add up from Burkina Faso.
Okay.
But I think you covered pretty much everything.
So it's Franco ATTK.
ATTK.
I always say Franco ATTK.
You're not the only one. It kind of looks like it. So
yeah, Franco ATTK. Now I'll remember that.
No worries.
Now I'll remember that. Right now, Burkina Faso is in the news everywhere, in every corner of the world, because Burkina Faso's president is not only a strong leader, but is a celebrity. Even Burna Boy yesterday offered to go and do a free show in Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
Exactly. How does that make you feel being a Burkinabe?
Honestly, being from a country that was very unknown from most people. I even met some African people that didn't know about Burkina Faso, and me being from a country that is now spoken about because of the leader we have and all, makes me proud, because that's something that we need. We need these kind of leaders in our African continents. I don't like to talk much about politics, but anyone that is fighting for freedom and that is fighting for peace is someone that I admire. And I really pray for health and for strength for him, and I hope the whole continent will get to this point too. Basically.
I love that. I love that. Take us back to a moment or the period where you were like 5 to 10 or even 15, or however far back you can take us, and share with us some of the sounds, some of the music, some of the food, some of the smells, some of the colors that really inspires who you are today.
Okay. So basically, I grew up around music. My dad is a reggae artist. My grandfather was a gospel artist. So I was always around music. I have uncles that are DJs. So since I was a kid, I mostly grew up on reggae. Basically, it's the music that I listened to the most when I was over there. When I was back home, when I was a kid, basically, and the sounds, a lot of the music back home that I grew up with, besides reggae, was mostly traditional. Traditional and kind of modern music was the biggest sounds that we heard. Was like, we have artists in my countries like you never heard of them. They're like Zugna Zaramda. We have Flowy. These are artists that I grew up with, basically. And food, Burkina Faso food is basically close to almost any West African dishes, basically. So it's mostly grains, mostly flour, and stuff like that. Dough, those kind of dishes that we eat a lot. And overall, everything that I saw growing up was basically considered by me as art. Music, even food, the way people cook, even the way women will be using the mortar to pound on militant stuff. They will sing while they do that. So sounds, music, sounds, food, everything was art around me. So I grew up with that energy, and it kind of shaped. But believe it or not, I was not really interested in singing until I reached middle school.
Yeah, here in the US.
No, back home. I moved here like 8 years ago.
Okay.
After I graduated, but really music, I started being interested in singing around middle school. I was more into acting than singing when I was younger, and basically that's it.
Yeah, man. When you speak about your dad being a reggae artist and you growing up on reggae, it reminds me about myself, you know.
Okay.
I was a reggae DJ for quite a few years back in Kenya, you know. You know, the first time I heard a reggae song was on a Walkman. You remember Walkman?
The
you know, these days your phone is basically the Walkman because every phone has a headset. But my sister's boyfriend wanted to distract me so that he could take my sister away, you know. So he came with the Bunny Wailer album. I think this album was called Marketplace, you know. And so, you know, he had the tape in the Walkman, you know, new batteries, and he put it on my head, and he put the Walkman in my pocket, you know.
And then you go.
He didn't even tell me I'm leaving, and he didn't even tell me I'm leaving with your sister. I was completely consumed and lost in the music, you know. By the time I looked around, my sister was gone, you know.
And the dude was nowhere to be found too.
But I had the music, you know. It's almost like the story of how colonialists came to Africa and they told us to close our eyes and pray. And when we opened our eyes, they had the land and we had the Bible, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, I want us to come back here for a moment and just talk about your music career, your journey, you know, where it all started, where it is, and where it's going.
Okay. Franco started music back in Ouagadougou, capital city of Burkina Faso.
Ouagadougou has the longest name when it comes to...
Especially the way it's spelled too.
The way it's spelled, yeah. I used to have a friend, his name was David. He was such a big soccer lover. And then there's a year where the Africa Cup of Nations was hosted in Burkina Faso, in Ouagadougou.
1990s.
I can't remember.
1996
it was in the 90s,
yeah?
And so he was making us spell Ouagadougou. Can you spell Ouagadougou?
Yeah.
Nobody could spell Ouagadougou except him. Anyway, so you began your musical career in Ouagadougou.
In Ouagadougou, and my neighborhood. Basically, I started. So I was going to high school. And my family was like, "Oh, if you wanna get in music, you have to graduate high school at least first, right?" Graduated high school, and I'm like, "Now it's done. What do we do? Can I do my music now?" They're like, "Whatever you want to do." So basically, I had an album ready that I had already written, and a group of friends of mine back home had a band. They were all rappers, so they needed a singer. So they came and offered me to be in the band, you know. But originally I wanted to start solo, but I started as a band. And then we went from, you know, we started with the band from 7 to 5, from 5 to 3, from 3 to 2 members, you know. And in the end I moved here in the States, and I had to take a little break from music for a couple of years before I launched myself back up again. So the biggest time, the time that I really remember a lot about my music is when I came to the US and I felt lost because I almost even gave up on music because it was a little bit hard to balance everything with work and school and music. So you kind of had to pick one or two things to do. I couldn't do everything at once, but I had to build myself back up.
Slowly by slowly,
and get confidence back on, especially coming from singing in a group to singing alone. You know, it was a big shock. So yeah, I started in Ouagadougou, ended up here in Seattle, and I started by just, you know, getting my own mini set little studio at home and recording. And then in 2020, I decided, I just woke up one day, I'm like, I need to go back home. Grabbed the ticket, flew back, recorded the whole album. I stayed back home for 23 days. Every single day I was in the studio. And the last day I recorded a music video. Right after the music video, from the recording point to the airport, came back to Seattle.
Wow.
So I didn't even take time to rest or anything, or to think about anything. I just wanted to record the album, and that's it.
Yeah.
So basically, it all started with the band, and we played shows. We won a couple of awards back home, but we're considered, they're called as the underground artists, because we're not mainstream. We're even using beats that were just downloaded with all the tags and all in the beginning. But we just couldn't afford to go to a studio and have a full set of beat made and all, because it used to cost a lot of money. So we did what we could, and most of the time back home, how families are with music. Oh, you're doing music because you're lazy. You don't want to do this, all of those things. So it was pretty challenging in the beginning, with nobody supporting you, because everybody thinks that you're being lazy to make music. So when I came to the US, I'm like, now if I don't continue music, that's gonna be on me. It's on me. It's up to me now to continue or to stop. So I started doing it again, little by little. And I'm still on that path. Yeah. But today is definitely better than yesterday. Yeah. And I have hope, and I'll keep on pushing.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
So I was at your album launch. Was it last year?
It was 2023.
2023. Talk about how it felt because this is the album that you talked about, going back to Burkina Faso for 23 days and recording every day. And filming the music video on your way back to the airport.
Yes.
And then I saw the end product, You performed it with One Vibe Band.
One Vibe Band, yes.
Speak about the album a little bit, the experience of actually launching the album, and some of the highlights of your career since then.
Okay, the album, thank you again. Thank you, and thank you to the One Vibe Band for really playing with me on that. On that concert. It was a mixture of before when I was preparing the concert, I was like, I just spoke to my manager Salif, shout out to Salif, and I was like, first time I actually saw the One Vibe band play, I was like, yo, Salif, this is the band that I need for my album launch. He's like, oh, okay, we're gonna see what we can do. And he made it happen. You made it happen. Thank you very much. And it was like a dream come true for me. Yes, it might not mean much to a lot of people because it was not a huge concert and all. But for me, it was a huge step forward from where I came from. And it really inspired me to keep on going. There was a mixture of excitement and fear, and, questioning myself. Am I ready to do a concert? All of these things. But in the end, you just have to do it. And if you feel later on, like, you have to start somewhere to get better, basically. So that album, every song in that album was written in different, when I was feeling in different moods, basically. Most of the album was basically written, they're mostly sad songs. I mostly write sad songs, and that's how I roll. And they're mostly inspired by events that I lived since I was a kid until now. Some of the songs go as far back as when I was in high school. I wrote them when I was in high school. There's some love song, there's some heartbreak song, there's some sad songs. I just wanted to put all my emotion into one thing, which was my album. And basically now where I stand, seeing myself today being able to be noticed by a festival like Madaraka means that whatever I'm doing it right. And I just need to keep on pushing. I don't know if I answered all the questions you asked.
You did. You did. Yeah, during the album launch, I saw a culture, an African culture that is probably more Burkinabe and West African, where people came with a lot of money and they were they were showering you with dollars.
That surprised a lot of people.
Yeah,
that's how we do, especially in West Africa. Celebrations, when we're happy, we throw money.
Yeah, the whole stage was filled with dollars. Yes. I just loved that.
That's how it is.
Yeah. Let's talk about Madaraka Festival. You know, when did you first learn about Madaraka Festival? How does it feel to be on the lineup this year?
Madaraka Festival, first time I heard about Madaraka Festival, I believe it was in 2020. And I saw, was it 2020 that the bunch came to the 2022.
Yeah.
The first time I heard about them was 2020. With from a friend from Kenya, and he was like, "Oh, you heard of Madaraka Festival?" I say, "No," and he showed me some clips, and then I never heard anything about Madaraka again until the bunch came, and I was like, "Yo, this is this is really big. I need to get there," and it made me feel like I'm in a city where there's such a big festival that I don't know about.
Yeah.
So I felt bad in a way,
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't like that feeling. I need to do something so I can get to this place. So I can stop feeling that way. That's when I decided, the album has been recorded for a long time. I need to put it out. I need to promote it. I need a team. And that's when I got to approach Salif, my manager, and then we kicked off. We kicked off whatever we needed to do to get the album out.
Yeah.
Starting with approaching the One Vibe brand and everything, and we got it all done from there.
Wow. So it's amazing. It's amazing to hear this, because for me, sometimes I'm just focused on doing Madaraka Festival. But I don't pay attention to the impact that it's having on people in the community. And this is just one story, but there are probably multiple other impacts that Madaraka Festival is having that we don't even know about.
Yes.
Now that you're on the lineup, how does it feel? And what should people expect?
So, first of all, Salif called me. He's like, Simon reached out. He wants you on Madaraka Festival. I was like, I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot nervous and excited at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm still excited until now.
Yeah.
And right now, there's more excitement than nervousness.
Yeah.
And what people are gonna, what to expect from me at the Madaraka Festival is basically a mix of emotions, basically joy and sadness mixed, because I'll bring both on stage.
Yeah.
I like to build up a little bit, start with a little bit, slow and mellow, and in the end, we jump and we dance and I get off the stage.
Yeah.
But so be ready. Most of you are not gonna understand what I'm gonna be talking about.
Yeah.
I hope you can feel it.
Yes.
So basically,
100%. For me, I feel like Madaraka is a breeding ground for talent. Similar to the work that I do with One Vibe Africa in Kenya. We have a physical space where our band practices there every day. We own the entire space.
Oh, wow, okay.
We do podcasting there, music production. We have our own studio. We have 2 rehearsal rooms there. And kids from the community learn everything. Horn instruments, guitar, keyboards, everything.
Wow.
So the fact that we are doing Madaraka Festival here, many people don't know that that's what actually fuels that entire physical space, And that has been going on for over 15 years.
Wow.
So a lot of talent has been built through this environment. Some are big, some are touring Europe, Some are big in Kenya. I can't even afford them anymore, but they grew up from that environment, And so I'm really excited that this year, August 30th, we're having an 100% Seattle lineup, you know. We are not even bringing a DJ or a technician from outside Seattle.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you. And really, I want to thank you for all the work that you put in for culture, basically, culture in general. So yeah, thank you.
Of course, of course. Is there anything I haven't asked you that you want to speak about?
Well, maybe upcoming projects.
Yeah, please, go for it.
I'm always in the studio, and I'm working on an EP that I'm going to be launching soon. I'm just going to say soon, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'll have more information, and we'll come back to you to help us again with the promotion.
For sure.
And it's going to be just about 4 or 5 songs.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to kind of portray one type of feeling, energy in every like EP or album that I'm gonna launch. If I'm gonna do an album that's gonna be talking about love, it's gonna be talking about love in general. But I'm not gonna be mixing different topics in the same album. You know, the first album was just a little bit of everything. But now I'm gonna be a little bit more specific. So basically that's what I'm gonna be. That's what I'm working on. And very soon I'm gonna have more news.
Please,
thank you.
When the album is ready, come back to the show. We talk about it, and who knows, we might listen to some of the songs at Madaraka Festival. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah. So look at this camera and ask everybody who is watching to subscribe to Madaraka Festival on YouTube, and then ask everybody who is watching to join us on August 30th at Pier 62 from 12 to 9.
Yes.
And say who you are. This is actually going to be your official promo video.
Got it. Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching. My name is Franco ATTK, and I'll be on the stage at the Madaraka Festival 2025. Make sure you join us at Pier 62 in Seattle from 12 to 9. Come, we're going to celebrate culture, and we're going to celebrate African music and music from the world. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Also tell them to subscribe to Madaraka Festival.
Right. Sorry, I forgot that part. Make sure you subscribe to the Madaraka Festival YouTube. Follow them on Instagram. Subscribe on mine too, Franco ATTK, and follow me on Instagram. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Thank you, Simon.
Excellent. Thank you, bro, for your time. Thank you all for joining us. This has been an incredible conversation with Franco ATTK, my wonderful brother from Burkina Faso. And I urge you to watch this from the beginning, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comments down below if my brother's story inspired you. Peace.
Thank you.